Alright, so we're gonna be trying something a little new here. It's basically where I talk to you guys, tell you about some like random stories, and in this video I'm gonna talk to you about how it was in the movies for me, working there, all the crazy events that would happen, how I met this one dude who looked like Bruce Willis's stunt double. So that was pretty cool. I'll just talk about all that kind of stuff, and I'll probably try to like cut it in those certain ways that you see like other people that make videos like this. Yeah, you'll see what I mean after I finish cropping the whole video. Anyway, I'll start telling you about my experiences. So back when I first started in April of 2018, it was sort of around that time that Ready Player One came out. Not sure if you remember that movie. It's interesting, but I never saw it, and I was working when it was out. So a guy came out of the theater. He was like, "Hey, is there a manager I can speak to?" I'm like, yeah, yeah, sure. What's the matter? What do you want me to tell him? He was like, "There's a girl giving guy head in the front row." I'm like, yeah, I'll tell the manager. So I go to the manager. Hey, so this guy told me somebody's giving a blowjob in the theater. She's like, okay, can you come with me so I don't look so small? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. So I went with her. She kind of just stood over them for a minute until a girl noticed, and then she stopped once we got into the theater. She's like, either you can watch the movie or I can kick you out. I guess they watched the movie because they still stayed. We walked out. That was it. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he wasn't the only player ready. Another time they used to count the cash registers. So like at the end of the night, I would work in concessions, and then they'd be like, "All right, come on back." And so I'd come back. I'd just sit on the counter, just kind of waiting. Like, what am I supposed to do while they're counting my register in front of me? It was a long day. Okay, I started cracking up a lot. And so I would start laughing uncontrollably to the point where the manager was kind of like, "You good?" And so I was, I was like, no, I was tired. And then this tiny girl comes into the office. She was a coworker. We both worked together that night, and she's like, "Are you high?" She leans in, asks me if I'm high. After we've been together 6 hours, no break, she asks me, "Are you high?" Like, no, I've been here the whole time. I'm pretty sure it doesn't last that long. And so that was just how that whole freaking that that was great. All right, this one's a little bad. So in 2018, Thanksgiving, they were counting my cash register down, and so I was just trying to make small talk with the woman. It's a female manager. We're just sitting in the office, and so I just try to make some small talk. I'm like, "Hey, have you gotten any of your black shopping done?" What makes it worse is you'll never guess her skin tone. Anyway, after that, she thought I hated her for the longest time. She was immediately like, "Excuse me." Oh crap. She's like, "Why do you hate me?" I don't. I didn't know what to say. And so that was pretty much how that ended. She didn't talk to me much after that. So yeah. I recently watched The Rise of Skywalker in theaters because I had an employee pass. They let me off early that night, so I'm like, okay. It was kind of like premiere weekend on a Saturday. So I'm in the theater. End of the movie, no spoilers. Some hand comes up, and this little girl, she just like shrieks. It made the whole audience laugh. And while it wasn't like a crazy event, it was just so funny because I kind of thought it was in the movie. I'm like, wow, where did that little girl come from? That poor girl. I don't know if like she was with her family or something, but like just imagine a little 6-year-old girl just shrieking. It's the best. It was honestly so harmless. Highlighted that movie. I'd tell you that much. So unfortunately, I work concessions a lot, and so some guest ordered some nachos with the cheese that you just and so I'm like, hey, do you want any jalapenos? Yeah, I'll take some. And so I went back into the kitchen. There was this girl washing dishes in the sink. And so she's like, what are you doing? I didn't say anything. I just walked to the fridge. I got some jalapenos. And then she kind of like, it's like, hey, what are you doing? And I just hold up the jalapenos and I'm like, hey, jalapeno. Kind of like the Macarena. The look she gave me when I did that, it was like, what? Anyway, a year after I had been working at the movies, this man and his daughter come up to the box office where I'm selling tickets, and he's like, "Can I get 2 tickets to this movie?" I'm like, "Sure." Okay, your total is $26.52. He's like, "Damn, it's expensive." I'm like, Yeah, it's quite the expensive date. He looks at me. He's like, "That's my daughter." I didn't know what to say. Uh, okay. I sold him his ticket. He was off. He gave me like a dirty eye when he like walked away. Yeah, dude, it's an expensive date to go to a movie. Not with your daughter, just in general. Ugh, people. Probably the coup de grace of weirdest moments involved police in the theater. It's when Mamma Mia 2 came out. And it was a pretty busy night, unrelated note, and so I was like, "Hey, manager guy, can I go on a break?" He's like, "Yeah." And so as soon as I like leave the door, he's like, "No, no, no, stay in. Go, keep selling tickets." I'm like, "Okay." He comes in and he's like, "All right, you can go on break now." I go to clock out again, and he's like, "No, no, no, keep selling tickets." Dude, what's happening? He's like, just keep selling tickets. Like, okay, not getting a break tonight. Okay. So I keep selling tickets. He comes in again. He's like, "All right, clock out right now, right now." I'm like, "Okay." So I go clock out. He's like, "Go on, go clock out." Like it was like some kind of race. So I clock out. I have a quality break. I come back and he's like, "You just helped me a ton." He tells me this is like I'm like adding some notes from like future instances where he tells me the rest of the story, but he told me that there was a man I sold tickets to 3 times that day. 3 times. And he said that man would go into movies with mothers and daughters. Like the movie's popular with them. He would pleasure himself in the theater. And so he said that he used my break punch out time for a reference on the cameras so he could see. Not like the guy actually doing stuff with himself, but like, no, like selling him the tickets so that they had proof that he went. And he would use cash every single time, so that doesn't help. But he had told me that this man would do this in theaters all over like the country. Apparently, like 6 months later, there was a court. They had a court hearing and everything, and I think it turned into either he could spend a year in jail and become registered as a sex offender, or he could plead guilty, have 3 months in jail, and still have to register. So that was, it doesn't happen all the time in your local movie theater pub. But that was just another experience. And every time I see that manager, he's like, every time I see you, I think about that time we caught that guy doing the dirty with himself. Alright, he doesn't say it like that, but it's basically what he says. Alright, well, hope you guys enjoyed some of my movie stories. Maybe I'll do some more videos like this. Depends how well it's received. I don't know. I don't know. Expect to see more of this guy, okay?